Hello and welcome to the Rise Up in Business podcast. I'm Tracey Mylecharane and I'm your host. This is the legal and business podcast for small business owners, where I draw from my experience as a business lawyer and the insights I've gained from supporting hundreds of service-based businesses. When it comes to what can go wrong in business, there is nothing I haven't seen. I believe prevention is better than cure, always. And through this podcast, I'm sharing with you what you need to know to build strong legal foundations in your business and to set yourself up for long-term sustainable success. Let's dive into today's episode. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Rise Up in Business podcast. In the last episode of the podcast, I shared with you the journey behind our brand evolution to TM Legal Atelier. And I shared with you why the journey was so important, because that brand evolution, or rebrand, as it's commonly referred to now, was very much a product of the brand catching up to where the business already was. Because the business evolved organically over years, it was time for the brand to catch up. And now we have a beautiful brand that perfectly represents who we are and who we serve. I promised in that episode that I would share with you in some coming episodes of the podcast some of the really important people that have been pivotal to my journey in business. And in today's episode, I'm joined by my business strategist, Michelle Broadbent. Michelle and I have been working together now for 6 years, and Michelle has been pivotal in my journey. She is a pillar of support. She's my 2IC whenever I need it. She's my voice of reason. She's so many things, and she's been a constant on the journey, and the journey's had many ups and downs, as we can all relate to. But Michelle is somebody special, and she really knows me, and she knows how to cut through the noise, cut to the chase, drill down on what needs to be achieved and what needs to be done. And she works with so many business owners, many clients of mine. I will refer to her if it's a good fit. She works with so many business owners in the same way. The reason I'm bringing Michelle on is to showcase for you a little bit about how Michelle works and to share with you more about my story and the journey and how we got here. And there's lots of little nuggets of gold in this conversation that I think anybody in business will be able to resonate with one way or another. So as always with these episodes, take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I hope you get value out of this. I really think that you will. This is such a beautiful relationship that I have with Michelle, and I value her so much. And I'm so happy to be having this really open and honest conversation with her on the podcast. I hope you enjoy. I'll be back in here with you at the end. Michelle, hello. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you for having me back again. I think, what are we at? Is this my third or fourth time here?
Oh, my goodness. It is third or fourth. I don't know which one it is.
I feel like it's an annual event.
As it should be.
Absolutely. Yes.
I am so pleased that we're having this conversation for so many reasons. But most of all, I want to start with the fact that we have been working together for just on 6 years. I thought it was 5, but we've just worked out at 6. And I often talk about you to clients and people that ask, because you've been my business strategist for that long. And I wouldn't be right here where I am if it wasn't for the work that we do together. And I want to shine a light on this in today's episode, because since we launched our brand evolution in the beginning of October, so many beautiful people have reached out to ask me, Tracey, who do you work with? Who got you here? Who helped you with this rebrand or brand evolution and all the things? But the thing is, and let's talk about this, it wasn't just the 3 or 4 month project about the new brand and the logo and all of the magic that Heidi did with Nicole. It's about the journey. And I really feel like the brand, the beautiful brand evolution, was just a catch up because the business was already there. And that's been a journey of so many years. And you can't do it alone. My gosh, you can't do it alone. So because so many people have asked me, and I have connected you with some of the clients who have asked if I think they're going to be a good fit and vice versa, I just wanted to share a little bit about our journey here and how far the business has come working with you. 6 years ago. So I launched the business 6.5 years ago, and then we connected fairly shortly after that. And I was back at my first iteration. It was Tracey Mylecharane Solicitor. We hadn't even gone to TM Solicitor then. It was still my full name. So that's like really easy to spell and say. So that was a really good idea that I had. But back then I was just trying to be all things to all people and help everyone. Is that where everyone starts? Do you see so many people starting there?
100%, Trace. I mean, first of all, just like, thank you. This is incredibly generous of you to, I guess, present me in this light. And I do want to say to the listener that, okay, yes, I have been by your side through this journey, but you have made all of this happen. Like, this is all you, and something that I absolutely know right from the get-go of working with you is that you know your own mind. And in this wild world of business that we all work in, it is so easy to get pulled along the path of someone else's, 5 steps to success, or this is how you're going to make $100,000 in your first 5 months of business, or whatever. And something that I have absolutely loved and know, and I think anyone that knows you knows that you are someone who, you know your own mind and you're open to input, but ultimately you know that the buck stops with you and that you've got that accountability within yourself to make stuff happen. So you are here because of all the hard work that you have done, building your business, but also how incredibly service orientated you are with your clients. And that's why you are here now. But coming back to the early days, just like everyone, it's like, oh, wow, I've got my business and I've got my website and my email address and, a couple of clients to get me going. And then it's so easy. And I think we all find ourselves in this space where it's like, you just say yes to everyone. It's like, oh, someone wants me, someone wants my help, and I'm going to say yes. And then we figure out pretty quickly, and I think you are someone who did figure it out relatively quickly, that we can't be all things to all people and still be kind of standing upright at the end of the day.
That's so true. Thank you for saying that. Bless your heart. You're so kind. That's right. And I think it feels like, you've worked with hundreds of women in business. I have too. And it feels like there's such a common theme here of the business owners who are soul-led and heart-led and want to do all the things and help all the people. At some point, it becomes inevitable, either because of fatigue or burnout, or because of passion or drive or a renewed sense of focus or confidence, wanting to niche in to get more specific who you want to be serving, because we all want to be all things to all people, but we can't be. And it takes a special sort of someone to be able to point that out. We talk about it here because we've been through it, and we've been through it together in my business. But to business owners that are perhaps not as far along on their journey, it's scary to say, oh, you should think about niching. Who do you really want to help? But you're spreading yourself too thin because you might not get another client, or you might not get another matter, or, oh my goodness. There's also a fear element attached to it. Do you see that with who you support?
Oh my gosh, yeah, all the time. And I think that is something that it doesn't go away. Every single level you go up, it's like it reignites that fear that, oh my God, I'm taking a risk, is, taking the business in this direction or specializing in this area. And it could be something that is, as you acknowledged, a decision that we make ourselves, or it could be a decision that is made for us through circumstance. And when I was thinking about when we first started working together, so we, that was back in 2019. And then, we all know what happened in 2020 and what that did to businesses, and that need for people to, we use that word that's been used to death, pivot. But I think that is just almost like a bit of a default setting now. It's that evolution and being willing to change and make changes. And whether it's niching down, specializing, it could be broadening, it could be changing. I mean, because I've been doing this for almost 10 years now, I'm with women in their second businesses. I'm with women now who have like completely changed. I've got a client at the moment. She was an emergency, like an ICU nurse. She's now a tax accountant. Like, people are allowed to change, and we should change. Like, we're not a concrete pylon. We are human, but it is scary. There is absolutely no doubt about it. But that's why we need to surround ourselves with great people who are going to provide us with insights, expertise, wisdom, their learnings. We're not meant to just walk this path all by ourselves.
I love that you've said it that way. It's almost like a permission slip. I still feel like that with you, running things past you. So, I just want to sense check this with you. I just need, internally, it feels like a permission slip. And it's important to have that. If you recognize that that's what you need, it's important to have it. So I know that there will be listeners who feel like they need to have that too. I just want to share this. When we would, for the very first time, we've niched a few times in this business now. It's all been organic. It's been very organic. It hasn't been something that I've had to sit down and go, right, I need to niche, and it just hasn't been like that. But for me, and I want to share this openly because I'm sure there'll be other people that feel the same, there was a lot of guilt initially attached to niching and saying no to some clients for some matters. And I struggled with that earlier on so much. And you'd said to me, Trace, don't feel guilty, let that go, because there is someone out there for them. And that felt really light. That felt really, okay, so I don't need to carry the weight of having to help all of these people, because if I say no, and no being a full sentence is something else that we've talked about a lot over the years, but if I say no, there are other people out there, and it's really important to know that. There are so many things that go round in our head where we can be our own worst enemy and hold ourselves back. Having someone like you in my corner to say, stop that, reframe it and think about it this way, has been so, so important. Is that something that comes up a lot too, where people do have that sense of guilt? Because there's so many directions and so many ideas we have, but there's guilt attached to it because we feel that we should.
Yeah, absolutely. I think being in service to other people, there is that feeling that we need to serve them forever and ever and ever. And in many cases, in many business models, it makes sense to hold people. I look at dentists and those sorts of like practitioners where it's like, you sort of don't want to be pimping yourself out to a different dentist every 6 months. But with other services in business, it's natural for things to have a conclusion. And as we grow and evolve as business owners, different people will come into our lives. And that's whether it's people coming into our lives as clients, but also service providers and that kind of thing. It's natural for us all to grow and evolve. That's what we're meant to do. We look at our kids and how they grow and evolve. Like, we're still doing that as grown-ups. So, but I know it is really difficult, and I'm speaking from personal experience as well as holding space for clients who are experiencing this stuff as well, because particularly if they're part of our origin story, if it's that first client, those legacy clients, that work that was what got us to our first financial milestone, or that first invoice that we sent, or whatever it was, or perhaps, when our business started, it was built on one-to-one, and then we, in order to grow and scale, we shift to a one-to-many model, or whatever that is. But I think it is common, and if you are feeling it, it is normal. It means you're human and not a robot. But it's also that reassurance to know that it is safe, if obviously all done in a nice and professional way. We don't want to be ghosting people, and doesn't mean that you have to turn into an asshole. You can do it in a lovely professional manner, but it's normal and the natural cycle of business to move on. But what I love is people that perhaps I've moved on from or have moved on from me. It's that, like, people always want the best for you. And it's when you share things like a rebrand or like an award win or those good news stories and the messages that you get from people that maybe you worked with 2 years ago, and it's like, wow, like, look at you go, this is amazing. And if you've done right by people, they will always be happy for you. So, yeah.
Oh, and I think that's such a lovely way to say it too. And it was like I was saying something to my 11-year-old recently. People come in and out of your life as and when they're supposed to. It doesn't have to end badly. So yes, I know you were friends with that particular person in pre-K and you used to do all these things, but he now does this and you now do this, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you're not friends anymore, and maybe later you'll reconnect on something else. We don't have to end things badly. We don't have to say no in an aggressive, nasty way. We can explain it. We've evolved and that's not a service we're offering. And sometimes, and I take joy in doing this when I can, we can connect or make a recommendation. Let's consider this person, or let me introduce you to this person. So it can feel really wholesome and good as well. It doesn't have to be negative Nancy.
Not at all. And it's paying it forward as well. Like you think because there's always someone who is willing to do the stuff that we don't necessarily want to do as business owners. And that could be a new business that's starting, that's where you were 5-6 years ago and, is ready to take that work on, and vice versa. There could be someone that is a few runs up the ladder to us that's like, actually, that's not serving me anymore, but it's still a service that is required. So I'm going to pass it back down. So I just think I have a saying that there is enough room on the dance floor for all of us. And there is. There absolutely is. Yeah.
I love that. I love how you always put a reframe on things. One of your many superpowers is cutting through the noise, getting straight to the point, and being really direct. And there have been so many times on this journey where I've said to you, I've got this great idea. I'm going to do this, this, and this. And initially you were so reserved. Are you really? Let's go step back on that and unpack that. And you take me on this journey for me to realize myself that, in fact, no, that's not aligned. I really don't want to do that. It's not a good idea. You've saved me from myself many times. We now have a relationship where I can say to you, I'm going to do this. It's great. And you'll say, no, you're not. And then we unpack it from there, which is just so valuable and priceless. And you know how much I value that. Having that peace of mind, second mind, whatever it might be, is so important. And people have asked me recently, who's your coach? Tell me who your coach is to get you to the rebrand. It's just not about that. I don't work with a coach. And I've said I don't work with a coach, but I work with a strategist. But this is not just on a project by project. This has been long term. Having somebody else, particularly when we're solopreneurs, right? We're the boss. We run the business. We might have a team and we have other people. But thinking on that CEO level, that strategic thinking level, having somebody who knows you, who knows the vision, who can understand the way you think and work, to be able to draw on and come in and say, right, here's all the things, let's do this. And for someone to say, actually, no, let's not, but let's unpack it. And you end up somewhere completely different. That's almost like a second CEO. It's almost like your 2IC. That's very much our relationship and where we've gotten to. It's not just me, having all these fabulous ideas that aren't particularly so fabulous once you've unpacked them. Is this a lot of what you do with other clients too, coming in at that level to help because you know them so well and you know that, in fact, they need to be not saved from themselves, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, look, I do. It is how I work with my clients. Obviously, we have known each other for a really long time, but I have ways and means of getting to know people very, very quickly and getting under the skin of their business. So I am like a business partner, but without the financial investment. Sadly, this is not Shark Tank. Michelle does not have bottomless pockets of cash. It's like I am invested in their success. And that is how I approach everything. So, as I said earlier on in the conversation, this is not Michelle's 5 steps to success. The way that I work with people is incredibly personalized and it's based on so many factors, but the driving force is what success looks like for the individual. And for some people, that's building 7-figure revenue business with team and product suites and all the bells and whistles. And then for other people, it's I want to build a business so that I can take Fridays off to spend with my 4-year-old, and everything in between. So that is very much the approach I take, is that personalized approach that factors in what success looks like for them. And then I use all the tools in my arsenal to make sure that they get there in the most pain-free way possible, because I do not and never have bought into that hustle myth. I don't believe that building a business needs to be so much harder than working for somebody else or burning ourselves into the ground. And I know that it's possible. And there's not enough examples out there for women to see truly, not the glossy Instagram version, here I am in my activewear at 5 o'clock, meditating, drinking green smoothie, all that sort of stuff. I mean, we talked about this, at the beginning with the call. Whose morning actually looks like that? Like, most of us are screaming our heads off at our children. Workout goes out the window. We're ready to kill everyone by 8:45, and then we have to click into business mode. Like, that is our reality. So more people need to talk about it, and that's what I'm here for. It's like, I know that things look like they should be like this, but this is what they can be like, and it doesn't have to be so hard.
It's been a big part of our work together over the years as well, and I was just about to mention that you have a winning week, my winning week, and I've got various iterations of it, which you gave me permission a long time ago to update that every school holidays, every term. It's going to look different. So it's almost like this, I'm actually not failing because I need to change it. It's actually a good thing. It's supposed to. You're supposed to change it. That's been so important for me. It's right there, stuck up with blue tack on the back of the door, and it's the next iteration. But there's a whole person approach here. And I remember one of our calls, this is 2 moves ago. We were in 2 houses ago, and Grace was probably 6 months old, sitting at my feet, and I was saying to you, oh my gosh, I can't get time to do it, and I'm really frustrated, and I keep getting interrupted. And the way you diffused all of that and just changed my perspective, and you've just said she just wants to be with you. Don't try and work when she's there. I was like, do you mean I don't have to be working every moment that I'm awake? No, she was 6 months old.
Gosh, that's really wild, but it was that long.
Yeah, it really is. And there's so much to it. The business journey is as a whole person. So I love that you said that there's no Michelle's 5-step magic formula. And I love that you meet people where they're at and you treat them as the whole person, and you look at the picture holistically and support in a way that the business owner needs. And that looks so different for everybody. And I love that. And this is why I wanted to share this episode, because when I tried to explain it in one sentence to one client in particular who reached out, I had to get on a call and say, well, this is what I do with Michelle. Here's Michelle's website. And she's just rang me back and said, I need Michelle in my life. Can you please intro me? It's really hard to explain in one sentence all of the things, which is why we now have this episode and I can share that. But there's just so much to it and so many angles to come at it, because it's a journey, and it's not just a logo, and it's not just a name change and a pretty color palette. It's a journey, and so much goes into it, and having that support along the way is crucial, I think, for anybody. You don't have to work with a coach. You can work with a coach if you want to. That's my solution, or my need has been a strategist, and that's been you. Let's talk about planning, because I'm a planner. I'm a big planner. You're a big planner, and you support so many business owners with planning. You do it several different ways. Can you share a bit about that?
Yeah. So this is like my peak time of year right now, because everyone's getting prepared for the year ahead. So I work one-on-one with my clients to get them set for the year ahead. And again, that happens when it works best for their business. So some people love doing it like early, and I'm looking at you, Tracey Mylecharane. You're always someone who likes to get a jump start on the year. Other people are like, I just need to get through the year, and we're going to do it in January. So I offer strategic planning sessions. I actually offer them all year round, but this is the time of year when I'm at my busiest and getting people booked in to get it done before the end of the year. But then what I also offer is like a group planning situation as well, because for some people, particularly those who are in the earlier stages of business, investing in one-to-one support is not always an option. So I have an option where you can come and have like a group experience. And the bonus of that is that you don't just get Michelle for the day, you also get the wisdom and the insights of the other women in the room. And that is something that I absolutely love is connecting great women to other great women and giving them opportunities to learn from one another and to support each other. And everyone kind of walks away from those experiences, yes, with their plan, but also with that, like we talked about before, those insights into what it's like in other businesses and go, oh God, it's not just me, is it? That's, screaming at my children before I head out the door in the morning and that sort of stuff. So there's the one-to-one support, but then I also have group support as well. And then to take that even further is that I also run accountability circles. So that is like an opportunity for business women to connect with one another, but in a more structured, longer term format.
And that's also accountability circles also for women, regardless of how long they've been in business or where they are on their journey. That's quite broad, isn't it?
Yeah, it is broad. I have to say these women are through that startup stage, though. The women that are in these circles are right in the thick of it. And we've got women that have been in business for 2 years all the way through to 22 years and everything in between. And everyone's kind of mixed in together to learn from and support one another in equal measure.
I love that. Michelle, thank you so much for coming on and just allowing me to share you with my listeners and some context into my journey, your role in that, your pivotal role in that, the brand evolution or rebrand, as I probably is a bit of a rebrand. I sort of thought of it as a brand evolution, but it's actually been recognized as being a hell of a lot bigger than I thought it was. So rebrand or whatever it might be, but it's about the journey. And as I say on here so often, who you surround yourself with in business matters, and case in point, right here. So I know that this is going to have loads of nuggets of gold for listeners. So thank you so much for your time. I'm so grateful.
Thank you for your time, Tracey, for having me and also for being such a vital part of my business. And I support you, but you support me right back. So I am very, very grateful and lucky to have you in my corner. So thank you.
Bless. Thank you. Isn't it refreshing having somebody you can talk to so honestly about business and all the things that come with that as a whole person, the kids, the fitness or the self-care that's non-existent or whatever the challenge might be, and having somebody be able to say to you, do you really think that's a good idea? Or have you thought about this? Or what about that? Or let's unpack that. There's real value in that. And when you're a solopreneur or whatever we like to call ourselves these days, but when we're running our own show, we often don't have that 2IC, or as I've referred to in the episode, that second CEO mind that you can draw on and just bounce with. And sometimes that can be just what's needed. And certainly for me, there have been many times over the years where I've rang Michelle in a flux at times or in excitement at other times. And I've really needed somebody to be able to use as a sounding board, to sense check things and to be able to get clarity on the way forward. And as you can tell, Michelle's been instrumental in that. And I love working with her. I value her so much. And I'm so pleased to have been able to share that episode with you. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you resonated with anything that Michelle has shared, please feel free to go and check out her website or her social media. We have included all the details in the show notes. If you have a business friend or somebody that you think is on the business journey who would really value listening to this episode or having a little bit of Michelle in their life, please feel free to forward this episode on, because that would be so very much appreciated. As always, thanks for joining me. I'll catch you next time.